Hi guys, and welcome to episode 3 of the A10CII Pro Tips Series. Today we'll be covering how to set up custom loadouts for the A10. This process also works for any other aircraft in the simulator. The main advantage to having custom loadouts is to save you some time at the start of your missions when rearming and refueling. It will also ensure that you don't take off without something critical to the mission, like a targeting pod. I'm sure most of you have flown 20 minutes to the objective, only to realise you are accidentally missing the targeting pod when you get there. I know I did that a lot when I was starting out. For this tutorial, I've included a link to download my custom loadouts in the description. You may wish to use this as is, or feel free to make your own loadouts from scratch. Before we start, do pay attention to your total aircraft weight listed here, as using heavy loadouts and 100% fuel will severely impact aircraft performance. This applies when using loadout presets or not. Here you can see a chart with all pylon configurations for my loadouts. Note that there are two variants for most. This is because of the AGM65s or the Mavericks. For those of you unfamiliar, the Delta is the infrared seeker variant of the Maverick, which is generally better for nighttime or low visibility use, as the seeker head will attempt to track heat signatures. Do keep in mind that this is obviously not very effective against cold targets now that the new DCS FLIR system is implemented. The H or hotel model is the CCD seeker head, which is generally better for daytime use. The next two images on the screen are from Goldwolf's Quick DCS Reference Guide, which is an excellent resource for various DCS information. In this case, the excerpt is from pages 34 and 35, where you can see all possible loadout variations of the C and C2 models. You can also see an overview of the weapons and their descriptions. The link to his guide is in the description. Now, an important note is that all of my loadouts take 4 AIM-9s. This is due to two reasons. The first is the fact that I value the utility of having more sidewinders available to defend myself against enemy aircraft, engage helicopters or other slow-moving aircraft. The second is that jammer effectiveness in DCS is currently pretty negligible. Ralfidude has a great video on jammer effectiveness, which I recommend you watch. The link is in the description. Maybe in future, the way that ECM works in DCS will be overhauled, but for now, I recommend that you take AIM-9s over either jammer pod. Regardless of any future changes to the ECM system in DCS, I believe it is more effective for you in the A10 to utilise terrain masking and other defensive procedures, rather than relying on the ECM pod for protection. This is because the A10, as a CAS aircraft, obviously has a large radar cross-section due to the large wing and fuselage and obvious lack of stealth features. If you were curious, both ECM pods are functioning the same in DCS, it's just that the ALQ-184 is slightly lighter and more aerodynamic, so if you do choose to take one, pick the 184. The A10 is a very fuel-efficient aircraft, and as such you will not require 100% fuel in most cases unless you plan to do a very long mission. For most online play, I take somewhere between 60 and 70% fuel. To install a set of custom loadouts, grab the Lua file from the link in the description. Once downloaded, we need to navigate to the Unit Payloads folder under Saved Games. To start, go to your Windows install drive, which is usually the C drive, go to Users, then your username, then Saved Games, then dcs.openbeta or DCS, depending on which version you are using, then the Mission Editor folder, and finally the Unit Payloads folder. From here, drag and drop the Lua file and hit Replace, and that's it. You can see the file path for this on screen. Once you relaunch your game, you will find the new loadouts available for the A10. This works for single player and multiplayer. As a side note, this is the same process for all other aircraft should you wish to make custom loadouts. When you're on the ground, you can open the rearm and refueling window by pressing left Alt or right Alt plus the apostrophe key. Or you can use the communication menu, which is usually hash on UK keyboards or backslash on US keyboards. As a side note, you should be aware that the A10C2 and the A10C have different weapon sets in DCS, and therefore have a different Lua file. Hope that helps, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you have a suggestion for your future video, leave me a comment. If you did find the video useful, please leave a like as it really helps the channel.